We have as guests Mr. Christopher S. Wallace, he's the Senior Director, Economic Policy, and Mr. William Grant Gilople. Mr. Gilople is the Director of Bank. Gentlemen, welcome again.
Thank you, Sobo, and it is my pleasure to be back here. So we think this will be very much interactive.
Okay, well, basically, first we want to really hear from the CBL. There has been concerns in the public about the shortage of LD5, note, the $5 bank note and the $10 bank note. For some time now, people have been concerned, especially the motorists, keke riders, and even the members of the public. They've been concerned. What is the CBL doing to address those concerns? Let's hear from you, Mr. Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. George. It is true that indeed this problem exists, and if you can recall, just for the public to know, these 5 and 10s, they are banknotes. Right now, what the CBL is doing is to mint coins, and coins have a longer lifespan than that of the banknotes. The lifespan of a banknote is like 3 years if it is properly handled. And the CBL being aware of the shortage of lower denomination, which of course have higher velocity amongst the citizenry, decided this time around and say, look, we are not going to print the 5 and 10s in banknotes. We rather print it in coins, mint it in coins, so that this problem, this age-old problem that persists today, can be remedied well. And that's why the CBL has done. But also doing this come with a high cost, and that cost is time. In the past, processes were not right. This time around, the CBL is going strictly by the joint resolution of both houses, through which we have documented every process. We have had an implementation plan that we are going by, which also bring to bear those of the resolution that the legislature has passed onto the CBL. So we are going to get all the processes right. I know it is delaying because there was no proper documentation in the past for printing or minting coins. The processes were not properly documented, such that if people left, you don't have all the trails of what is going on in the bank. But this time around, if William Grant Droplet leaves the banking hall and he leaves behind a document that will ensure that indeed all the processes relating to the printing and minting of coins, the printing of currency, and also the infusion of it is properly documented, and everyone can follow the procedure, that ensure that that process is on course.
Okay,
so that's what the CBL has been doing.
So let's get this right, and Mr. Gilople will come in. Are you saying that the central bank has abandoned its previous decision about printing Liberian bank notes in the $10 and the $5 denomination, and you have abandoned that to print coins? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, and like Wallace said, the decision was actually thought about. We know that the 5 and 10s are the ones that we frequently use in the market. Actually changing the 10, the keke, taxi drivers, they don't even regard the banknote. Once it is a lower denomination, it is treated anyhow.
Sure.
It is the bigger denominator that will actually protect. So you see, market will may have the waist there. They will have the 100 and the 500, kept in there. But for the 5 and the 10s, they can dash it anywhere. And the kind of weather condition we have now. During the rainy season, it's totally bad off. So the lower denomination are getting so mutilated. I think one of these days I will bring some here for your television crew to look at the 5 and the 10s. I see them every day because I'm the director of banking. So there's no way you can put the money back into circulation. So one way to protect our banknote is to mint the lower denomination in coins. And the lower denomination that we are minting in coins, the coins will last more than 15 years, as compared to a banknote that we just say have a lifespan of 3 to 4 years. So that is why the CBL, had to, sit and think, through it. And so we believe that the coins, that we are bringing will help. The only good thing about the coin is not the one that we had before, that was so heavy. The silver coin that we had. This one is very light, and so it will be easily, portable.
Now, so when did the CBL realize that, look, let's abandon the decision about printing the lower banknotes, which is the 5 and the 10, and let's go for the coins? When did the bank realize that?
Yeah, so the process flow, I just want to take you through the process flow. So banknote are actually infused into the economy by the Central Bank of Liberia. The commercial banks transact with the public on a daily basis, and they receive the banknote and come back to the CBL to deposit. So during the process of redemption of the banknotes, we got to realize that, looking at our stats, we got to realize that most of the 5 and the 10s, along with the 20s, were, getting worn off faster.
Okay.
So that actually brought the decision that, after providing statistics of banknotes that were actually mutilated, because it's the commercial banks, when they come to deposit, they will clear banknotes as mules, and banknotes are usable banknotes. So we have the statistics, and we started seeing huge, mutilated, banknotes from the 5 and the 10s.
Okay.
So that's how we actually do that decision.
Now, Mr. Wallace, you spoke about a process, because the reason why I'm still on this is that I want for our people to understand that there's not a delay in trying to address what they want the CBL to address. You spoke about a process, a legislative process. So is that also one of the reasons for which, up to present, we have not been able to get the coins printed?
It is part of the reason. One, because the joint resolution of the national legislature called for an implementation plan to be developed, and that plan has all of the processes and events, and each of the event we have to be documented. It starts from maybe giving us the mandate to go and do a new design. So the design process of the currency, of the new currency that we are printing, or the new banknotes that we are printing, we have to be well articulated. It has to meet certain climatic conditions in terms of humidity. As you are aware, some of it is being alleged that some of the big businesses, have their own private vaults.
Okay.
And these private vaults, according to the central bank, the Minister of Monetary Policy, the central bank assures, the commercial bank do due diligence to see, the condition that exists in the vaults, that we, keep the currency, intact. But some of these, businesses, or in our own private homes, the little, vaults that we have there, or, safe and things that we have there, the conditions are not favorable for keeping the banknotes. And that's why, it is advisable to go and save in the commercial bank, because from time to time, the central bank will do due diligence and see whether the notes are kept, well. Note 9, the banknote that you see is a public good, right? Okay, you own the value of it. That is, if you want to transact, but it is owned by the country. It is owned by Liberia. That's why it is a legal tender to settle all transactions in Liberia. So that is why the central bank encourage its citizens that indeed take your bank note to the commercial bank, save with the commercial bank. But since we have been having this liquidity crisis, and you go and all kinds of processes have been delayed in terms of getting your money. That is why you find out most of the citizens, they keep the banknotes at home. But this time around, we've made projection of how much banknote we use, clean up banknote policy, and also automating the processes. that indeed we try to limit human intervention, that these banknotes that we are bringing and coins, they should be machine readable,
Okay.
such that if we digitize, our economy, you can just walk to, UBA or any of the, banking institution, ATM. If you want cash, if you want coins, if you want banknotes, you can just, put in whatever gadget they give you and you withdraw from there without going in banking or only maybe for people that will go in, that will go for huge amounts, and may go because they have to place limit on it now. People that will go in for huge amount, like companies, they may go in banking hall. But like you, commuting along the road and you need quick cash. So once the economy is digitized, you're gonna get that.
Okay. Now,
But Sobo,
okay, go
I
ahead.
think yes, I just wanted to buttress my colleague. Right? You were so much concerned about what caused the delay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So the issue of printing and minting, banknotes and coins is a process.
Okay.
For some other countries, it will take you 2 to 3 years.
Wow.
To be able to just do the issue of the RFP, that is a request for proposal, the bidding process, the procurement, all the entire procurement process, take almost a year.
Already, it's not done internally.
Exactly. And for us now, we were doing banknote and coins. We are doing banknote and coin at the same time. So you have to put it out there to international printers and media companies, to be able to apply to bid, for the contract. And so it took us some time, back and forth.
You gotta meet procurement
You gotta be-
processes as well.
I mean, you have to respect that, because you don't want a situation where journalists and the social media people come and just then agree and embarrass the CBL.
Sure.
So we're very, very careful. So the entire process for us, we have to actually rush the process, because like Wally said, the resolution from the legislature was very, very specific that no printing in 2023. So just imagine
That's
we have
election year.
exactly. So we have only 2022 and 2021 and 2022 to work, to be able to go through the procurement process and at the same time print banknote. So actually, we almost there. The politics gotta be a little patient. But we're
Okay.
almost there.
Now, you almost there. The members of the public will not be concerned about your internal mechanism and your internal workings as well. Let's see what can we give them an idea as to how soon we're going to overcome these whole hurdles, Mr. Dropler and Mr. Wallace.
So the problem is that there are few banknote printing companies in the world, and they are not printing for Liberia alone. So when you conclude your procurement process, then you begin to negotiate contract with them, and the contract has terms and conditions. And in that negotiation process, they will tell you, look, we have a slot for this time to produce this amount of banknotes or mint this amount of coins for you. Secondly, is that Liberia does not have her own courier services to say, okay, we have Air Liberia that once they finish, printing our banknotes, we can go for it, or we have, a shipping line that we can go for it. These people have their own terms and conditions, and they can take your banknotes alone and put it on the ship to say, okay, you charter the whole courier services to come and bring it. It will be very, very expensive.
The central bank doesn't have that money.
No, the central bank doesn't have that money. So all of these processes are what we are working on with the minting companies and the printing companies, along with the shipping lines. So we just gave a framework of time wherein we will have these banknotes. That in the second half of 2022, since we are not bringing in banknotes in 2023 and coins or anything of monetary value, so we are working with the minting companies, the printing company, along with the shipping lines, to see custom clearing procedures, whether they are in our favor. But what we can assure you is that before before the time elapsed, that is within the second half of this year, 2022, all the banknotes and coins that we need to begin the exchange process throughout 2023 will be in
Will
country.
be in country. Now, when we talk about the second half of the 2022, can we be specific about the month? Are we talking about October? Are we talking about November? Are we talking about December?
Yeah, so I knew that would have been your follow-up question.
Yeah, sure.
So I was just waiting for that, all right? So yes, you know, banknote handling, you know, has its own risk factor.
Okay.
So we're looking at security. We don't want to just come on the air, you know, telling the public that we're bringing banknote tomorrow. Okay, you know, it's not possible. So we are very mindful of what we do. The only thing is that the CBL, you know, just being so lucky that the printers, you know, are actually listening to us. So once we come on the air, we hear all the public concerns, we go back and have a video conference with them and let them know that this is a serious problem. We need to address it urgently. You know, what can you do for us? So they have accepted to bring the coins forward, because we expect to get the coins by November, but we have to negotiate again for them to bring it forward.
Okay.
So they want to say, yeah, so
hopefully
it's
August.
Yeah, out of August, September, you know, but we are sure, you know, that it's not November any longer.
Okay. Now, I know the central bank been taking a couple of steps and measures to address some of the problems and concerns we have in the money market. But are they sufficient, Mr. Jalopler, Mr. Wallace, to prevent, you know, future scarcity of, our denominations and all of that?
So yes, the central bank, we've had, a well-enhanced communication strategy that we're going to roll out. Will begin in July. And as I said earlier, the banknotes and the currency that you see belong to the country. And in our act, if you look at the CBL Act, I think it's Article 27 of the Act that talks about willfully mutilating, perforating, or defacing a banknote that that a country has printed. There's a penalty for 500,000 if you look in the act, or 2 years imprisonment.
Okay.
So this we're going to roll out to the public. I mean, it is the public. We partnership with the public, such that we disabuse their psychic that this money belong to me, so I can do anything to it.
Okay.
It is a public good.
I can handle it anyway.
Yeah, anyway, no. So thank God that we have the Whistleblower Act. That whenever this happens, maybe we can see how best we can liaise with the legal authority, that anyone who reports that can be compensated some way, somehow. But it is an entire strategy that we're going to roll out, because in other countries, if you went there and somebody just write on the money, they won't accept it. Nobody going to accept it from you. And if you took it maybe to the monetary authority, the CA, if it is $100, they say, okay, we'll give you $10 value for it. And no one will want to lose that. So there are a series of mechanisms that we are also studying, in this entire currency reform process.
Okay.
And then go out with a huge communication strategy that will make people take ownership and feel that this particular good belongs to everybody, and nobody should abuse the use of it, such that it denied others of using it.
Yeah.
So the central bank has a comprehensive strategy that we use
To discourage that.
to discourage this.
Yeah.
Now,
Some of you before you come in, I just wanted to address the issue of whether the banknotes we are printing is sufficient. Yes. So before we started the entire process, we knew how much we had in circulation. Okay, we're talking in terms of 24 billion. And so we decided to print 2 times the 24 billion. So we are doing 48 billion now, 48.7 billion now, both in banknote and in coins. Okay, so we took everything into consideration, including the growing population, and even the workforce. Okay, we have young people now who are also being employed. Before we started the process, we took all of those into consideration. So yes, what we're printing, very much sufficient. And what we thought to do is that we'll now wait until you get the banknote to a very, very high level of mutilation before you can change. Before you can get it out of circulation.
Okay.
So the clean banknote policy will take care of that. I know when you travel to Nigeria, Ghana, you see the money, you think it's being properly handled. It's just that they are very much mindful that once you have a $1 million banknote coming back to the central bank, you don't put it back in circulation.
Okay.
That's called clean banknote policy, and that is what we actually going to drive, and we must be able to provide to the entire population, our listening public, that you must be able to take care of your own banknote. Don't just handle it anyhow and writing all on it. That's not in water. See the fisheries. When you go to, I was an account officer for some of the big Lebanese businesses that into fishery. Yeah. You see where they keep our Liberian dollar, as compared to where they keep the US dollar. The US dollars are kept in safe, while Liberian dollars are dashed just in bags, just in the water. And then when they bring it to the bank, you can now run them through the machines. So all of those education you're going to provide, if you are caught doing that, you'll be penalized.
Now, so does the act creating the central bank allow for any sort of punitive action to be taken against people?
Yes, yes, I said it in Article 27. Yeah, and the punitive action is that once you are caught, it may be $5 banknote or any of the coins that you try to pierce. It calls for you, paying a fine of 500,000 Liberian dollars, or 2 years imprisonment, or both.
So how do you enforce such, an action? How possible it is that, are you going to take the person to court first before it happens, or how are you going to do it?
But yes, you can take the person to court. And I mean, we have social media now, Whistleblower Act, where the person, is maybe recorded,
okay,
and there's evidence that indeed they did it. You look at some of the money and you see people writing, names on it, people putting, like $1,000, they bundle it and put $1,000. Why you see the person doing that? I mean, you can record them and report that to the central bank, and the central bank will liaise with the justice, system to prosecute the person.
You're listening to Money Matter. Money Matter is a CBL sponsored program here on EOBC, and of course today we have as guest Mr. Christopher S. Wallace. Mr. Wallace is the Senior Director, Economic Policy. He also came along with Mr. William Grant Jalopler. Mr. Jalopler is a Director of Banking. And of course today's program is simulcast on OK FM, if you are listening to OK FM, Cool FM, Prime FM, and Fabric FM. I'm sure I'll open the line so that you interact with our folks from the central bank to get more clarifications from them. But before then, let's talk about the issue that's at hand today regarding the shortage. I know it may be possible, it may not be possible that tomorrow we may likely again experience other shortage in the 20 or 20 denomination. Now, what is the central bank doing, or how are you trying to address this by ensuring that the public or members of the public do not overly rely on using the physical cash during that transaction?
So I'll let you start, and then Chris, who been working with the folks in payment system, in financial market, the rest of it, can just elaborate on some of the things that we are doing. So we want to digitize the system. So to do that, our folks in payment system have been working with the World Bank to have the national switch. What happening now with the RTGS? So if you want to deposit your check, for instance, somebody will take you it's like D+1, so it's only taking about 3 days for the check clears. Once you have a national switch, that shouldn't happen. You should have value for your money immediately, right? Say in 24 hours. So we have the ATMs, we have the card system. Mobile money is also being widespread now.
Okay.
Even people who are not educated understand what mobile money is and how to even use mobile money. So we are driving to digital platforms. There are a lot of fintech companies are also coming in Liberia now. To do some transactions here with BNB. And some of those are companies. So Sendwave or and the rest of
Yes,
them.
sir.
They are all coming into the financial, market, financial sector of Liberia. We are pushing this because we want to avoid people entering money frequently.
Okay.
The thing is that the money get mutilated faster once they move from one hand to the other. But my phone, I can push money to you, and you also push money to your fiancé or whatever it is, or your child going to school. You can just send them more money. They can use that more money to buy, something on the campus. I was just telling the people the last time that you have a cake on Alpha Feed that sells coconut. You just once you finish eating your coconut and you don't have money, you push it to him. You tell you I can take more money. Okay, that's just one way that we want to open up the market to avoid the use of banknote, in the marketplaces.
physical cash.
Yes, physical cash in the marketplaces. The thing is, the challenge is the bigger businesses got to be able to accept more money, and that must come from the Ministry of Commerce and then being backed by the Central Bank of Liberia.
Okay.
So these are things that we are doing to.
So the central bank is, greatly driving financial literacy,
Okay.
because the more people become aware, the more they use this platform that we trying to introduce, and we introduce the convenience of it, how it can be used by anyone in a convincing manner.
Anyone, anywhere.
Anyone, anywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Because once you have your mobile number, yeah, it is linked to your account. You can push from your account to your mobile wallet, or somebody sending you money, they can push it, through your account, and you withdraw from there to your mobile wallet and use your mobile wallet on any POS, you can even take from your mobile wallet and push it, to your account.
Sure.
So you don't have to go to the bank. If people are sending you money or making payments to you, you don't even have to go to the bank to deposit, because the bank is linked to the platform. That indeed, once you deposit your money, you see an alert and you can monitor your account. So, like I came to EFBC and I wanted to make payment for maybe a talk show. I don't have to come here with money. I know the entity's account number. Once I send it there, finance people will let you know, oh, payment has been made, for this time. Or if I wish to take like one more hour of your time, which of course was not in the original contract,
Surely.
and I say, okay, and you say, look, it's $250. I say, okay, but I'll be here and send it. And I will send it to you through my mobile wallet. So that's how digitized we want to make the economy. But before doing that, also financial literacy is important. And the central bank is going all out doing that.
Now, so yes, you say you are going all out doing that, but still there's problem with the usage of these sort of platforms. People still not used to that yet, because it's new in the financial sector. To what extent are you really going all out? Because we expect that you be all around in the corners and encouraging people to do so.
So one of the reasons why, and it was difficult for people to accept more money last year or the year before, because of liquidity constraints. Okay. Now that we are prepared to bring in more money, the first thing, let me just tell you how what we're experiencing now. So last year, and let's say from 2020 up to from 2019 up to 2020, what we're doing in the Central Bank of Liberia, we were sorting mutilated banknotes to give the commercial bank because they never have money. Okay. And I know you experienced it. At some point in time in 2020, December, when you go to the bank, people will tell you that when you want 5,000, you can get 2,000.
Yeah, sure.
So the bank never have money. But we are very much surprised that the banks, now the commercial banks, are just washed with deposit, with cash.
Okay.
So much so that they are pushing the cash to us, and they can't even come for the 8 billion we have since last year November to present. The 8 billion we still have 3 billion, in the reserve vault. So the banks, they get enough, cash. What we wanted to see banks coming to us to say, look, we need new banknotes, because we have customers who are calling for the new banknotes, but that's not the case. They are having the old banknotes stocked up in their vaults, and they are even, just imagine, we even putting them on schedule to bring in banknotes. So one of the strategy we try to employ in banking is that commercial bank, you can swap 100 for 100. I want to give out a new bank note. So if you have your 100, denomination, you bring your 100, say 20 million, I give you 20 million immediately.
Okay.
In the case of the deposit is on the agreement we call subject to account. So once you bring your deposit, we give you value, but after doing detailed counting, we then take the difference or we give you a surplus. So we are having this agreement now with the commercial banks. We're going to open, have our regional hub in Banga operational by July. What we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is that all banks on that side, we have to bring the $100 bank notes, keep the smaller ones, since we have the constraint with change business up country and in Morovia. You keep the smaller bank note for now, bring your 100, I give you 100.
Now, so with that arrangement with the banks, how does it? Because initially I heard you saying one of the constraints in making the whole usage of mobile money, spread around, it's because some of the big businesses are not accepting, this whole mobile money, platform or usage. So how can your arrangement with the bank, how does it help in this process?
Yes, so what our supervision department and payment system doing is to work along with Ministry of Commerce to put the businesses to accept, mobile money. Because you can pay your taxes using mobile money.
Sure.
So once you receive the mobile money in your wallet, you can push it. If you don't want to push it back to your bank account, you can hold there and do your payment, your tax payment with your Liberian dollar.
Sure.
And that is acceptable. So we are asking all the businesses to accept mobile money payment. So the thing is, we need to enforce certain regulation and let people empower them. Once that starts, the people will succumb to everything we want them to do. They are just here in in our economy. They are doing their businesses. Nobody bothering them. But when we introduce any platform, you must be able to accept it, so that I can have option. I have my card with me. I have my money. If I don't have cash, or if I want to pay with cash, I can pay with cash. But I'm gonna have option in my payment drive.
Sure.
I get to your business, I can either use my card, so you might have our POS ready, or you should be able to accept my money or payments.
Okay, now before we open the lines, I know the central bank has made a lot of on several occasions clarification regarding why regarding the rationale behind the printing of the 100 and the Liberian dollars denomination before the smaller ones.
Yeah.
But I think there's a need to still explain to our people the rationale behind that. Mr. Wallace or Mr. Gilbert?
So we did our analysis, and it shows that one, the $100 was one of the most circulated banknotes that we had.
Okay.
And in terms of capacity, in our banking sector, capacity in terms of space that was in the banking sector, since we're indeed confronted with liquidity problems, so we needed to solve that. And in terms of the volume that we're bringing in, you bringing 4 billion in is about 400 million pieces or so of the $100, in almost like 800 boxes. So if you were bringing 20, then you should multiply that by 5. So look at the volume you bring and the time it will take you to bring it.
Okay.
So we thought it wise and said, okay, for the purpose of liquidity, let us bring in the $100. At least it will be circulating in the economy, because we also look at the pricing structure that was existing in the economy. That indeed people that are going maybe from here to Broad Street, you either pay $150 or you pay $200 or so. So you could take $100 and give
And
it
pay right away.
Yeah, and pay right away. Since indeed the lower denomination were highly mutilated, but there were still there was still some usable one. So
circulation.
yes, the $100 could ensure much liquidity than you bringing the $500 banknotes or the $50 banknotes, which would have been twice the price, and then the cost of it also that was available to the central bank. So we had to make a strategic decision to say, okay, cost versus what problem we want to solve. We want to solve liquidity problem, But what is the cost, implication on us? This is the cost. $100 cost versus 50 and the 20 cost. Okay, it is within the central bank's own affordable range. Since indeed we are on, the ECF program, that we have a threshold, for spending, so we have to abide by that threshold. And what will make you to gain liquidity, or to induce liquidity into the system will be this amount. This amount can only afford printing the $100. So the central bank had to make that.
Had to make that decision.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
Okay.
and Solo, to just butcher what Wally just said, so we had a stakeholder meeting, 2020, that was chaired by Natalie Margate at the CBL, where all the big businesses were present, and we have this liquidity constraint. So I did some analysis from banking department that I presented to the stakeholders. This is where we are, okay? For us to meet the July 26th, salary payment and the rest of it, we need this much. So that was what informed the decision to the IMF and the rest of it. So when they started the statistics, how much the next 2 months before July 26th, how much government needed to pay salary, and how much commercial bank, the big businesses would need. So when we got to the point of 3.6 billion, for the 2 months, they then decided that, okay, but then what we need to do is to speak with the businesses to bring in money. We asked all the businesses in the country, all the top businesses in the country, they never had money. They never had that much in their purse. In fact, some of them said they were going in the streets, to do FX and the rest of it. But today, we didn't bring money here, but today, see the huge deposit commercial bank has. Where the money coming from? So it tells you that we have to prepare ourselves before the money that we are bringing go back into, the hands and the voice of the big businesses. So we must be able to work harder. So we came up with that decision, and then said, look, to meet December salary payment and to take care of all of the liquidity needs of the public, we need to bring in 4 billion just for liquidity, and then the next 4 billion can come in February, of 2021 to take care of the mutilated bank notes.
Okay.
So you see, so during that time now, when we brought in the 4 billion, we're just bringing the 4 billion just to take care of the liquidity need. But to our almost surprise, the 4 billion were not utilized. Banks started receiving deposits from the public that they couldn't handle, that the VOS couldn't handle. So it's sometimes intentional. The hoarding of cash must be, we have to penalize people for the hoarding of cash.
Sure.
They can't just put on, that must be considered as economic sabotage. And people should be penalized for it. So we're not going to take it lightly this time. We're monitoring, we'll go out, we have a task force to the banks and to the businesses to make sure we can inspect them. We'll have, mystery shoppers that will go to your business and then, ask some key questions, and then we follow up, with the appropriate authority to make sure they can take it out.
Okay, so shortly we'll be opening the lines, but before then, this issue with the shortage of the smaller denominations. Our people who normally, who are really, bearing the brunt, they are the keke riders, the motorcyclists, some of our citizens as well. They really going through the inconveniences. What can you say to them? So at least to calm their nerves now.
So I said this, time for a number that the situation here is not like mathematics. In mathematics, you have what we call the law of transitivity. When people say A you go to B, and B you go to C, A must go to C.
Okay.
It doesn't really work that way. So we're not going to apply, mathematics. We got to look at the reality. Okay. For the construction of the roads, there are a lot of bypasses that we use. When the roads are completed, nobody will know the bypasses. So this thing will be over. We just want to appeal to them. We want to appeal, to the conscious-minded people, like some of our colleagues always say, that we've already, gone through all of the hurdles. People fighting for change, people leaving their change, with helping people. Those things will be over in a very short period of time. Today, we are having a meeting with the printer. We also talk to them. because we're confused with the Ecoterm they were using. I know at some point in time, but now we got to understand what they mean by those Ecoterm.
Okay.
Delivery, printing, and delivery on FOB is actually something that we need to work with, and we are working with that. So they have accepted that, look, we'll complete the printing by the end of August. For the meeting complaint, yes, we'll complete the printing and maybe the meeting by the end of August. When do we deliver? From Europe to Liberia here, it takes almost 6 weeks. So just imagine, so 6 weeks, a month plus. So we got to be very much, patient and let us take our own time. We don't want to rush, we don't want to violate the contract terms. Violation of contract terms, the penalty. So we want them to be a little bit patient. We are almost there. We are sure that they will get money before December. That is something that all the bank knows before December.
Okay. Well, they don't want to violate the contract term. I think I heard that. That's Mr. Christopher S. Wiley, is the Senior Director, Economic Policy, and Mr. William Grant Jalopler, Director of Banking. They are our guests right here on Money Matter. Money Matter is a sponsored program of the Central Bank of Liberia, right on the OBC. This program is being simulcast on OKFM, Cool FM, Pram FM, and Fabric FM. You can put your calls now on 0776540987, or better still 0880-514-096. That's the first call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Bravo. How are you?
I'm okay.
Thank you for your effort, Bravo. But I don't want to make a comment. All the people, gentlemen, okay, you do there. We know that the central bank is working, but the central bank working and people working, they are not working. They are working like that today. They are not working. All the things that people government over there. And you ask the that was selling in the market. You will not say what the central bank is saying. What the people want to just see is what they are asking for. So the great thing I can tell them is that if you do everything possible, they are really the constraint all over. We know, but all what people want to see when the smaller denomination will be available in the market, so they can do this.
Okay.
The only thing I want to ask is that I heard one of them say that for the paper money, it can be sooner, it can be for 2 or 3 years time. But then the coin will last about 15 years. They say that that method like that coin, it said like a coin.
Okay. They will respond to your concerns. They are taking note. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning to our Uncle Grateful Stadium and good morning to the Cody. Alright, my name is G. Metapia. I joined you from things here. I listened to them, they spoke mentally and they all spoke well. But I got two concerns. The first one is, how best are they doing it for at least that my mother is working together in my there to know what is going on? What program are they setting up to take it to the people in the various villages and in the various towns in the various countries? And my second one is that we in Liberia are noticing that we are using like 4 currencies. We got the Taylor made banknote, the Ellen made banknote, and then the Georgia made banknote, and we got the US. So what are they doing that at least we can come down to at least one single Taylor banknote that we'll be using now they are bringing this cash?
Okay, they are taking note, and of course they'll respond to your concerns, rest assured. Let's just call on the line quickly. Good morning. Oh, the caller is not there. Let's see what happens. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, let's hear from you.
I'm Manuma Jobo. I come from Ghana Supermarket.
Okay.
Yeah, let me take your street address concerning the issue on the discussion.
Hello? Oh, it seems like he's off the line. It seems like this caller is off the line. Okay, let's see what I can get this caller on this side. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, okay. They are here, and of course, I will respond to your concerns. They are taking notes. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
My name is Kevin. I call from Kakata.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much to our teacher guest. Yeah, at least elaborating on some of these things that we are facing when it comes to the money issue. And it is our prayer that they really speed up because change on the market is very, very, very tough. A lot of confusion in the market. You go buy, and like you are forced to just use all of the money or leave your change behind. So if they craft a policy in printing the money, what they do is you cut all of those challenges before coming to the public to announce that, okay, by such and so time, money will be printed and be brought on the market. But you don't say, oh, February I will print money, new money will come. When February reaches, we don't see money. Oh, so that money will come. When after reaches, if you know you will face challenges for the ship to bring money all the time, calculate all the time and add 2 or 3 weeks to it before you can come out and say, okay, so that money will be on the market. So the moment that comes, the Labrador people will know that yes, money here.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks. Let's take this call on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Sabah, and good morning to the Conscious Man Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Abraham Political of Yesetu, and I call from the host talk about where I will come this morning. Let me appreciate the technical team from the Central Bank. I think they do extremely well. We enjoy macroeconomic stability because when it's not much policies, the rate stable 150 or more. I think the technical team made slap mistake on to that extremely well. It was to print small money. Now the rental fund is difficult to get changed. So I think that when spirit is going to do everything possible, they ensure that they can resolve the small money change issue. Because if you cannot do that, I think a lot of people visit it and doing nothing.
Okay. Many thanks. Many thanks. Let's just call on the line. Good morning.
Good morning, Trevor.
Good morning.
I'm just Sabani of Makari.
Okay.
I just want to tell the brother and the guests in the studio that can I please try and get us changed in this country? It's a smaller denomination. We just tired of the exclusive.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, he sounds so frustrated. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, okay. I was saying the central bank told that in order to infuse the new bank note on the Labrador market, we're going to be to the commercial bank. But you noted that this year when you go to the bank to withdraw money, it's not they giving you new money, they give you part of mitigated note. So why is the central bank doing to address that situation? Thank you, sir.
Okay, many thanks. They are taking note. They'll respond to that. Rest assured. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, let me take this one. Let me take this call. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. George.
Yes, sir.
My name is Prince Mr. Wapamula, and I call this morning from PhD Juba.
Mm-hmm.
So your senior guest, I want to know what was the analysis done before printing the bigger denomination, the $200, and not thinking about the two denomination. And let me also use this time to also appeal to that conscience. Please, we are begging people. I mean down to people that the issue of changing this country has become a serious embarrassment for us as common people, and also the government and you guys are also serving in. So I am praying to your conscience this morning to please see reason and bring the money speedily because that when people really need the money right now. Thank you for the opportunity this morning.
Okay, let's take this call up quickly and then we'll go back to our studio guests. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabajo.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Rufus Kukulati Chid. I'm calling you from the headquarters of the 13th District in Massachusetts County this morning. I heard your studio guests actually talking good things, but I think they have not something. They have, all the things they have said are not something that should need commendable or venture right now because the people are suffering. And let me tell you something. If anything happened to anybody in the street front, they can get riders, taxi drivers, and what have you, we will hold the central bank guys responsible for somebody killing somebody for a little change of $10 or $5. Because can you imagine the kind of embarrassment it brought to us? You cannot be working and in the central bank, you are well paid to do a piece of job for the citizen. And we all know money matter. Money is the payoff of changing the goods, the goods to one place to another. If for any other reason that the money is scarce on the market, you will have the citizen go and look ahead. But they are paying them, and they lying to us. They always carrying on when you call them for the money matter. They are not very, very good to tell us the truth. You cannot bring the bigger denominator and you leave the smaller one that's supposed to be easily accessible to the people in the market and the people that buy. But you stay there telling us that you will bring the money in XYZ time. And the modern psychologists and other people are corrupting us every day. When you pay them, they will use that situation as no money.
Okay. I think you made your point already.
I'm completely disappointed in these people.
Okay.
On a serious note.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Let them respond now. Let me. Can you imagine that expressing some frustration?
Thank you.
Let's
Mr.
hear from
Josh.
you. Yeah, Mr. Wallace
I
and
think
Johnson.
the concerns that they have are genuine, but you see, these things that are happening now were not created by the central bank.
Okay.
So we have processes and procedures to follow. If you give the mother or you give your wife full money to cook, you can just come back and whereas she just comes from the market and you telling her, look, hurry up. There is a recipe that she has to follow so that the food becomes sweeter. You understand? And then she can give you the food and you say, look, just eat it all kinds of way or dash the the food all over the place. So it's what happened to the Liberian people.
Okay.
What we have to preserve it. Once we preserve it, it becomes ours. But you remember about the this hula baloo that was on the central bank about missing money and things. There were some internal processes and procedures that were not right, for which documentation became a problem. Under this administration, under this regime, all of the processes are being well developed and documented.
Okay.
Even if we brought in the change, the coins today, you are not going to see them on the market because we have to validate them. They have to go through the processes before we roll it out for infusion. Such that, I know everybody hungry to eat, but once you eating and you see the taste of the food, when the auditors come to check us, then it becomes problem for us. You say, oh, those people were corrupt in the place there. No. So we have audit trails, we have processes that we use for all of these things, and they are well documented.
Okay.
So we asking the public to be patient-minded. These things, once we get it right, we get it right once and for all. We shouldn't be in a hurry to do that. And another person asked about how would the information, reach to look at to all of these places. Yes, we have a comprehensive a strategy. Right now we are about to conclude our posters and billboards. We will conclude the jingles and things that will go in the various vernaculars explaining these things. So we have a comprehensive communication strategy that we will roll out to the public.
Okay, yeah, okay. So I let to address the concern of the call that was talking about all banknotes still being given out by commercial banks. The first thing here is that public concern that they need the smaller banknotes, they need change, the rest of it. So the banks cannot just keep the $100 banknote with them and then bring the smaller banknote to us to destroy. So what they are doing, they're being very much mindful because when you go on the counter and you give your check to a teller, the teller will not just give you 100. You might have, need for a small denomination.
Sure.
So they have the small denomination they have to give to you. And now they are saying they are mute. Yes, the small denomination are actually mutilated, but we say got to use them until at that point in time where the coins will be introduced. So they should continue to accept the smaller bank notes from the commercial banks. Like I told you, I said it, but I don't know what they call it or listening. That we the situation here is that the banks' vaults are actually overwhelmed with cash, with liquidity, so they can come to us to get new money. So the strategy we employ to see the new money is to swap 100 for 100. So we are swapping 100 for 100, so that at least they will see the new bank notes, in circulation.
Okay.
So we are swapping 100 for 100. The smaller denomination will still remain with the commercial bank because we have to give them change. So nobody should frown on the commercial bank. Now the central bank don't know what is happening, but we want to manage the situation. Okay. So the other issue is that when do we remove all the he said charter, he called Ellen Johnson leave money, Jovial money, and the rest of it. When do we remove all the money for in circulation? So we, like Chris said, we have some implementation plan that we are following. We don't want to rush the situation because we don't have space, to hold all the money. Just the money from December to present. See how much money have come into the banking sector. How much money we announced that there's a deadline.
Okay.
So we want to do it, through a very gradual process and document all of the bank note we are receiving and the one we are giving out. Because tomorrow, there will be audit trail, and we need to be ready to present all documents to whosoever will come to challenge or at any point in time. Thank you ever so much, Abu.
Well, he's Mr. William Grant Jalopler. He's the Director of Banking. And you also heard Mr. Christopher S. Wallace. Mr. Wallace is the Senior Director, Economic Policy. Gentlemen, thank you very much for taking time off a busy schedule to appear on Money Matter today.
Thank you.
Well, this program being simulcast on OK FM, Cool FM, Pram FM, and Fabric FM. What's up, George is my name. I'm not the primary presenter of this program. It's just that Sarah's Kokogla Badio is out of the country, and so he asked me to